Welcome to this explainer. We literally spend about a third of our entire lives asleep. But honestly, have you ever actually stopped to think about exactly how you're positioned during those thousands of hours? A lot of times we just think of sleep as powering down, right? But your body is incredibly active in the dark, and the physical posture you take has a huge impact on your biology. Today, we're diving straight into the source material to unpack the fascinating truth and the real physiological mechanics behind how we spend our nights.
Section 1. The Sleep Personality Myth. Let's quickly decode a rather curious piece of 1970s pseudoscience.
So, does your sleep position actually reveal your personality? I want you to genuinely think about that for a second. Have you ever wondered if the way you naturally kind of twist yourself into your blankets holds some deep secret to your psychological makeup? Well, back in the 1970s, a psychoanalyst named Samuel Dunkel proposed a super curious, though, spoiler alert, almost totally unsubstantiated theory claiming exactly that.
Dunkel's claims were wild and incredibly specific. He firmly believed that if you prefer to snooze in the so-called royal position, which basically just means lying completely flat out on your back, it meant you had this deep-seated self-confidence. But on the flip side, if you naturally adopted a semi-fetal position, slightly curled up on your side, his theory said you were a highly sensible, well-adjusted person. It's a really fun, charming concept to contrast these two, but as you can probably guess, it's highly unscientific.
The truth is, even though Dunkel's ideas lack any real medical proof, we definitely still have a strong attachment to how we sleep. We've even come up with all these creative names for our nightly styles. You've got the zombie, the mountain climber, the free faller, the rigid soldier. But when you talk to sleep experts, they strip away all those colorful myths. They categorize our habits into four basic biological core postures: the left side, the right side, the stomach, and the back.
Section 2. How our sleep evolves, from infancy to adulthood.
Now, up until the age of 1, experts strongly recommend that babies sleep entirely on their backs. This is an absolutely critical safety measure to lower the risk of choking and suffocation. But as we grow into young children, things start to change. We start moving around a whole lot more in our sleep, usually ending up just kind of randomly sprawled on our sides or backs. And then, finally, as we reach full adulthood, the vast majority of us naturally settle into being mostly side sleepers. So how do those adult preferences actually rank out? Well, side sleeping is by far the number one go-to for most adults. Back sleeping comes in second, favored by significantly fewer people. And then way down at the bottom, we have stomach sleeping as the least preferred overall. It turns out our tendency to actively avoid sleeping on our stomachs is something that consistently grows as we get older. Section 3. Dissecting the four positions and how posture affects biology. Let's get into the medical realities here and look at why our bodies might reject certain positions. Let's start with the absolute least recommended posture: sleeping prone or on your stomach. Basically, stomach sleeping physically stretches out the natural curvature of your spine. When you're in this prone position, your spine is left completely unsupported. This strains the nearby tissues and literally prevents those big, heavy muscles in your back, hips, and neck from fully relaxing over the course of the night. That physical strain, that is exactly what causes that awful tension and stiffness you might feel when you wake up in the morning. Now, yes, the general advice from sleep experts is to avoid stomach sleeping to protect your spine. But there's actually a fascinating respiratory exception to this rule. For patients dealing with certain respiratory conditions, lying flat on the stomach uniquely benefits them because it physically allows the back of the lungs to expand much more freely. It's just a great reminder that medical advice almost always depends entirely on a patient's specific condition. Conversely, what if you're someone who struggles with lower back pain? Well, sleeping on your back is often the preferred choice, but only when optimized as a targeted solution. You don't just want to lie flat. Step 1 is to sleep flat on your back, sure, but step 2 is the real secret. You place a small pillow directly under your knees. By doing that, step 3 falls into place. You allow your spine to beautifully maintain its natural, healthy curve throughout the entire night, completely taking the pressure off your lower back. That said, back sleeping comes with a severe warning, especially for whoever might be sharing a room with you. Physiologically speaking, snoring is the sound created when the soft tissues of your throat and tongue literally collapse backward into the airway. As your body desperately tries to pull air through that suddenly narrowed space, those soft tissues vibrate. This is exactly why people suffering from sleep apnea are constantly told by doctors to avoid sleeping on their backs at all costs. Sleep apnea already involves dangerous pauses in breathing, and back sleeping dramatically increases the chance that those airway tissues will collapse completely and block all airflow. And even side sleeping, which most experts generally recommend, has vastly different benefits depending on which specific side you choose. It's kind of like a cheat sheet for your body. If you suffer from acid reflux, studies show the left side is your best bet. Why? Because your stomach is primarily located on the left side of your body. Sleeping this way keeps the stomach naturally below the esophagus, literally using gravity to keep acid from flowing back up. But if you look at people with congestive heart failure, who often have an enlarged left ventricle, sleeping on the right side is recommended to help relieve chest pressure and improve overall sleep quality. And like we just covered, if you have sleep apnea, you absolutely must avoid your back to keep those soft tissues from blocking airflow. Section 4. The best position for you. Navigating nighttime movement. Let's put all this together. As you've probably gathered, there is clearly no one-size-fits-all answer here. Sleep styles are incredibly personal. Some people are sworn belly sleepers and are never, ever going to change, while others just cannot nod off unless they are sprawled out entirely on their backs. The absolute best position depends entirely on your own physiological needs, your pre-existing health conditions, and honestly, just your personal comfort. Plus, attempting to force yourself into a single position all night long, that's almost possible. Get this. 20 to 30, that is the sheer volume of times most people unknowingly shift positions every single night. You are physically changing your posture 20 to 30 times while you are completely unconscious. No way, right? But don't worry, tossing and turning isn't a failure on your part. It is actually a brilliant biological feature. Sleep movement is exactly how your body naturally relieves built-up pressure, responds to tissue discomfort, and ultimately prevents physical injury while you rest. Your body instinctively knows when a joint needs relief, and it adjusts accordingly. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought for you to ponder. Knowing your body's specific needs, your own aches and pains, and the science we've just unpacked in this explainer, which sleep position are you going to test out tonight? Are you going to try optimizing with a pillow under your knees, or maybe strategically utilize gravity on your left side? To all the free-fallers, the soldiers, and the zombies out there, I wish you a great night of highly optimized, scientifically sound sleep. Catch you next time.